um, visibility of practice. You're going to see more things, more access than previous years. I think Hyper wants people to kind of see, what they see to a certain extent. I mean, you don't want to be, divulging any secrets or, things like that that's going to, give the opponent tips on you. But, you want the fans to see, kind of what's going on. I mean, NFL, they have these open training camps, and it's really cool because, the fans go to the game. I got good family friends that are Steelers fan, and right there from Alabama. I live in Birmingham now, and they drove up to Pittsburgh to attend the training camp. And so I thought it was cool a couple of years ago when Butch allowed allowed the fans to come to the game, and they had like a fan day watching fall camp. And it put a lot of pressure on them. Created a real cool atmosphere. Don't know any plans like that taking place this year, but for the fans, I think part of getting them back on top of winning is to give them a peek under the hood, give them a peek behind the curtain, and let them see what this team is all about. I think that's important.
Yeah, I would think it would, like the NFL with all their, almost everything they do is pretty open. And you would think it would be even more beneficial at the college level. It just seems that way to me, just especially for a team like us, where a program like us, where we're at right now with things not being the way they should be, but looking for the future and getting us closer together. It seems like giving us more access without it being detrimental to the team would be huge. Whatever we can do to bring the fans back closer to the heart of the program seems like a good thing. And I don't buy a whole lot of stock into you give that much away by letting teams see you run a route tree or run your everyday drills in practice. I don't think that benefits other teams when they compete against you. Now, if you're in game week prep maybe, and you're doing stuff like adding some wrinkles in and stuff like that, I get that stuff being hid, but I've never really bought into these coaches that get so worried about, their another team's going to see their version of the annexation of Puerto Rico play that they're going to be using.
They're paranoid, man. Coaches are paranoid. I mean, it's Rouse versus Air. Come on now. I mean, it's some one-on-ones. I don't know how much one-on-ones you want to put out there, because that gives the opponents opportunity to really, really scout the guys that you have. I don't think I'll put that out there. But all the other stuff, I'll put that stuff out there. Special teams, units, things like that. I mean,
every coaching staff that we're ever going to play against has how many years of watching game film of every Josh Heupel offense that he's ever coached, whether it be Utah State or Missouri or Oklahoma or UCF, wherever, they got film. And Saban's got film for how many years of everything he's done, going back to Michigan State or even further, I'm sure. You're right. The coaches are paranoid, and I've never got it. And I think coaches who have done that philosophy of they've built a wall between them and the people that are really the heart of the program, which is us.
Yep.
You, me, Ben, C-Mac, Gina, all of us.
No,
anyway.
You're right, Rusty, man. I mean, I think Heupel, and I don't know if Heupel knew exactly what he was going to do when he first got here, and this was the whole entire plan. But the good thing about Heupel is, man, he listens. No, he listens, and I think he understood after being told, or maybe he understood it himself, that at this point, man, it's just really important to have engagement. And
yes.
Either it's with the media. You don't have to be the media's friend or anything, but you don't come in and treat them like they're the enemy. They have a job to do, and some of them are going to get out of the pocket. Some of them are, trying to one-up the other, and they're going to dig, and they're going to be the ones that try to, get their name out and get those retweets and likes and get that clout. And you just understand that. You don't take it personal, but you take note. You take note of that, but you don't take it personal and allow yourself to get out of character. We saw that with Jones, where he allowed himself to kind of embarrass himself because he let it bother him too much. But I was thinking yesterday, Rusty, and man, thank you for the phone call, man. I don't mean to hold you on here
You're
the
good,
whole
you're
time, but I was thinking, yesterday, like all the people that were asking questions, like all the media coverage there yesterday. He didn't get that at Orlando. I can think of like one guy that covered Central Florida from, the Orlando beat, and that's Mike Bianchi there at the Orlando Sentinel. I can't think of anybody else. I don't know anybody else was covering Central Florida. I'm sure there were more, but it's a different ball game. I remember when Eric Spoelstra, the head coach for the Miami Heat, and this is when like Chris Bosh and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade was on the team, and they had a ton of media coverage. And I remember him, telling Coach Jones that it still wasn't anywhere close to what the coverage that Tennessee football had. I mean, you had 10, 15 dudes asking different questions at the media day yesterday. So there's more eyeballs on him. He understands that. Now, understands that as a coach. He had it as a player. But thank you, Daniel. Yeah, this computer's weird, man. It's time for a new one. BC1 Cam says, speaking of speed, I thought a Tahoe wanted to race me once. So I took it there in my Lincoln LS. We hit 120 on 640 before he pulled me over. He was undercover. No license, no insurance. What a bad day that was, but he let me go. What? BC Cam, who do you know? How did you get let off going 120 with no license and insurance? How do you get a warning? Wow. You must know somebody that knows somebody. Because that ain't happening to us. No, sir. We going to jail. We getting a ticket. BC1 Cam is special. He knows somebody. Jennifer Morris with a great question. Do you think trust is built more on the field or off the field in everyday life for the players? I think trust is built in every possible situation. Lie to a player and see what happens. All that player's going to do is go back, tell their roommate. And then the roommate's going to tell other folks. And then by the time you know it, the team knows that, man, coach just straight up lied. And don't let it be a player that the team respects. If the team respects his player and the coach lied to him, now coaches are going to be looked at sideways by those players. I'm telling you, it's the smallest things. It's the smallest things. The coaches who are the most genuine are going to survive this change, this wave of college football. They're going to be all right. But the ones who are phony, says what sounds good just to, in that moment, to make that person happy. If you're a person that do that, you're going to lie. And at some point, it's going to catch up with you. And players talk. And parents talk. So it's just best to be straight up and be honest, even though it may not benefit you in that moment. Long run, it will. So that trust is built on the football field, it's built off the football field, it's built in recruiting, it's built every moment that a player's on campus. They talk to other players. How many times, in business where you hear about another person before you meet them, but if someone that you trust told you something unfavorable about that person, before you meet that person, you're gonna be a little hesitant. You're gonna have this, preconceived notion of this person, whether it's fair or unfair. Like that's how you're gonna be. There were situations where I played where, players told one thing, necessarily didn't happen, and I looked at some of the coaches sideways. You got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to watch out. It happens. It happens. But we had a lot of talent on our team, and it didn't hurt us too bad except for that one season in '05. But we're talking about a program right now that didn't have a culture at all, and it's trying to be basically built. So it's very important that it's done the right way. All right, let's go back to the phones this morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Swain. It's Justin in Florida.
My man, Justin. Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Man, you're working hard. You got the fort held down just by yourself?
Man, yeah, doing a little bit of everything today, man. A little bit of everything.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Ben is doing the Lord's work, man, for Swain Event and VolQuest. He did a good job yesterday, and he's going to practice, and
Well, cool. Hey, real quick, one thing I took out of yesterday with listening to some of the coaches that I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it's so much better than the previous staff, but I just thought it was refreshing to hear first Heupel talk and kind of be honest about the depth and how it's not where it needs to be. That kind of implied to me that they understand that over the course of the season, you're going to have more than 22 guys ready. You also follow up that with some of Galesh's comments about, making sure guys, rotate in, and it's good to, see guys, come from the bench, make a play in a game, and it fires everyone up. I think that's probably something that's going to play well, and I think that's probably one of the things that was overlooked from the last staff because there were so many guys that were just frustrated about, never getting a shot, never getting in games, and, they were ready to bolt because of it. And I think that's going back to, building the right culture, across the board. And I just thought it was really refreshing to hear that, they acknowledge that and, it's, part of football. I mean, injuries are going to be a part of it. Guys get banged up and you've got to have the next guy ready to go. And I just didn't see that development out of the last staff. So I think that's going to pay off for this staff in the long run. What are your thoughts?
I noticed, Justin, that I think everyone that covers this team understands kind of the depth issues. I think there are some fans that maybe don't buy into it as much and think it's better than what it really is. I mean, you can give guys who were not on scholarships, and it makes it seem like you got a bunch of scholarships. But when you're facing a bunch of players from a different team that started their career on scholarship versus a bunch of players who were added to scholarship, I mean, I think the results are going to kind of show itself on the football field. But one thing I noticed yesterday, Justin, is that, yes, Hyper was asked about it, and he was honest, but he didn't want to make it an excuse. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You got to find a way to win. But the depth is going to be an issue. And it's a good opportunity for guys when you talk about in terms of playing. And Tim Banks said, you hope that, the guys that are playing, we hope that they're playing because we trust them, not because you just got to throw them out there. That's something that I really pay close attention to is there's a difference between, all right, we embrace some of the weaknesses, but we don't harp on the weaknesses and try to make excuses. And I don't think Hype on the company is trying to do that. But the depth is going to be is an issue right now, and hopefully it won't be an issue if you stay healthy, if you keep guys fresh. You don't want to beat them down in fall camp and during the week of practice where they're not fresh on Saturdays. So the management is going to be very important for the strength and conditioning program, for the training program, that they're all on the same page and making sure that the team is as fresh as they can be because the numbers are thin.
Yeah, I was actually since you brought it up, Swain, I was trying not to take a shot at the previous staff about the excuses, but that's really where I was kind of going with it. It was really refreshing to kind of hear, hey, this is what it is. We got to get guys ready and put the best guys out there that are going to help us win. Versus, we didn't get a lot of practice time. And, that was always something that drove me crazy was, hearing from inside the program how complicated the defensive scheme was, how complicated the offensive scheme was, and I'm going, what time did you have to install that? I mean, I understand that's maybe the way you've done it in the past, but I really like the fact that this staff is going, hey, we're going to work with what we have, not what we would like to have.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to hop off here, man. You take care. Talk to you soon.
Hey, appreciate it. I thought I didn't think Pruitt and company made excuses. I mean, I thought they handled the COVID stuff as best as they could. They didn't make excuses. It wasn't anything they can control. In a lot of ways, it was really unfair because the rules was not even across the board around the league, and I didn't think a lot of excuses were made. We just didn't get the job done. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Who we have here?
Hey, Turkey Man, bro.
What's up, Turkey Man?
What you doing, buddy?
Little sports talk radio. A little bit of talking.
Yeah, well, Ben had to take off. I was talking to my wife earlier, and I looked and Ben's gone. Did you throw him out or what?
Ben's going. He's at practice, so he's covering the first day of practice today.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you that a hypothetical. We're gonna expand this SEC. Looks like, and we talked about that a little earlier. Florida State, Clemson,
Possible.
Ohio State,
Possible.
those other. Yeah.
There's reports dropping, but it wasn't true. According to those schools, but they could be lying. Who knows? But I think a lot of people were reacting from a report that Clemson and Florida State reached out to the SEC, and that's kind of already been debunked. But I think, Turkey Man, we all feel like that it's going to happen sooner or later. It may not be now, but it's going to happen sooner or later.
But I was looking and thinking about what about the basketball side of this super conference, and what about the baseball side and the women's softball side in other directions? Why would you not want a Duke in it for basketball per se?
Yeah, I mean, Duke. I don't think Duke's going to leave the ACC, but I mean, Duke certainly brings a lot when it comes to basketball. But Coach K's retiring, so how much stock do you put into?
I don't know. This was just a talk. It's just a conversation. It's just saying, okay, what other schools would you look at that? Because we thought when Missouri come in, which has never been, that they'd bring basketball side. That's never happened, really.
Well, Turkey Man, what has all this been about? Why are we expanding? Why did we expand in 2012?
Money,
exactly.
power.
Exactly. So Missouri, they're not Texas, Oklahoma, but what they are, they're a program that can give you the St. Louis market, the TV market. Texas A&M can give you that Texas market, and now you're bringing in Texas and OU. That's more money. We know Florida State is a great school academically, athletically. The basketball team is good. Football team program, is historically good, but money. Follow the money. And it's about those TV contracts. It's about getting into those markets, looking at those streaming numbers, because that's where we're going. That's what it's about. So does Clemson add a lot to the table? Does Florida State add a lot to the table? I don't know that answer. I don't know the numbers, but from a football perspective, yeah. But it's all about money. So follow the money, and then you'll follow the reasons of why a team is going to enter the conference or not. That's going to be the reason right there. Money, money, money.
Who's going to be the NCAA, the one that keeps everybody in check?
I don't know.
This conference deal, because you can't. You got to have somebody. You can't have the inmates over the prisoners, so to speak.
Well, Turkey Man, we
got to have some rules.
Yeah, we get to that. We get into that, Turkey Man. Thanks for the phone call. We're getting to the point where there's going to be I think it's going to be an NCAA type of commissioner, or commissioner over this new wave of college football. I know the NCAA is trying to adjust and things like that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be able to happen for them in enough time. Let's go back to the phones, and good morning. Who do we have?
Hey, it's Pete in St. Louis, Jason.
What's up, Pete? St. Louis. I was just talking about St. Louis, man. St. Louis.
I tell you what, we're hitting some good weather right now. It's really nice up here, which isn't very usual. So it's a pretty nice place to be right now.
What is it? What's the weather?
Oh, we're in the 60s at night, and highs are in the low 80s and no humidity. So
it's great. Yeah, that's perfect right there. You can't beat that.
But so I want to kind of go back to the caller before Turkey, man, talking about depth and those concerns. How do you think our current roster compares to what Coach Heupel had at UCF? Because a UCF program level would tend to be a program that wouldn't attract a ton of 5-stars, et cetera. How do you think, and he won with that talent, he found ways to win with that talent at that level. How do you think we compare currently to some of those teams he had there?
That's a good question. Really good question. I think when you look at like some of the ones on our squad, so you take like the guys like a Cade Mays, you take, maybe a Velus Jones, you take some of the guys on defense, like ones. Yeah, our ones may be better than Central Florida's ones. But I think when you start talking about depth, you look at special teams, you look at, Josh Heupel's ability when he was there at Central Florida to throw multiple guys at you, over and over and over and keep guys fresh, even though they might have not been better than Tennessee's ones. I think the depth can sometimes overpower, just talent. And I think that's going to be some of the issues for Tennessee because you got to think about how many plays that you want to run. Like I remember, coming in on a Sunday or a Monday and we get graded for, our plays, and you get the play sheet and that feeling after the Saturday game, you feel like you played 100 plays, but really you're being graded on like 45, 50. You're like, oh my gosh, I thought I played way more than that. And this offense is talking about putting up 70 to 80 plays. You're going to need some guys to come in and the drop-off not be so significant. And I think that's where Josh Heupel will want to address those issues moving forward. Can't do much about it right now, but in recruiting, whether it's going out and get high school players or going out and get transfers, you want to be able to say, all right, we're going to play 3 or 4 guys at running back. We're going to play 8 guys at wide receiver. And when we rotate them in and out, we don't want the drop off to be that significant. And I think right now he can't say that. Look at Alex Golish when he's talking about the running backs. He was able to say one name, and then he had to fight and struggle to mention any more. He did with Tyon Evans, but initially, like he just mentioned one running back. You want to be able to mention 2-3 guys in the snap of a finger, and I think Alex Golish will be able to do that here in the next couple of years, hopefully next year, but just was unable to do it yesterday. So that's more of some of the depth issues. And then, special teams is 1/3 of the game. You don't want to be out there, playing, in a punt return game where you're in space. I mean, space. And you got a bunch of 4 or 5-star freaks on the opposite sideline, and you're having to play guys that, were, walk-on players at one point. Now there's, scholarship players. At some point, you're going to get yourself, beat. You don't know when that play is going to be. But if you do it enough, then, you're gonna find yourself, on the short end of the stick there. So that's, I think, where the depth is an issue. And if you can keep guys healthy and you can, manage them and monitor their output when it comes to practice and the miles they put on their bodies, maybe you can put some of those first-team starters on special teams without them maxing out and tapping out. So I hope that answered your question. Long-winded answer,
Yeah,
though.
Great. Yeah, very in-depth. I appreciate it. You have a great rest of the day.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Like I remember playing, and we would have guys like a Jason Allen on special teams who was a starter. He played special teams. We have guys like Rob Meacham on special teams, and you want to have starters on special teams, but you don't want to feel like you need to play all of them because that can affect you with offense and defense. And you want your special teams guys to be guys that physically, they're good. Like physically, they're good. And the reason why they're not playing is because the mental part of the game has not caught up. That's what you want. You take a Omar Gaither. You take a Marvin Mitchell. They were great special teams players when I played. Physically, they were just like everybody else. But mentally, they had not matured yet early in their career. So they made plays in special teams because physically they lined it up, they matched up with everybody else. And then once they got the mental part of the game, they became starters right there on defense. That's the difference between having depth, not a significant drop-off of special teams, and a team that you put out guys on special teams and physically they're outmatched. That could be an issue. All right, let's go to the phones again. And who we have there? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Vol Storm. What's up, man? I know that voice from anywhere.
Have we heard anything about the starting quarterback yet?
We heard everything yesterday, man. I thought the coach was going to come out and just say who's going to be the starter.
I'll tell you what, I have to, I can't believe I'm doing this. I have to actually give Ben McKee from the Swain Event a little credit.
And VolQuest.
Yeah, whatever. He said Swain Event first.
He did. On the first question, he did say Swain Event first. And then on the second question, I think it was to Tim Banks, he says VolQuest first. So he evened it out.
Yeah, VolQuest, whatever. But he actually asked a poignant question to Heupel about the quarterback. What characteristics are you looking for in a starting quarterback?
Good question.
It was like he wasn't just asking, hey, well, blah, blah, the roundabout questions that most reporters will ask. He actually tried to pin him down so we can all have an idea of, okay, this is what this quarterback's doing in practice. So he's probably looking to be the starter.
Trust.
That's
it. Consistency. I mean, that's what Alex Goller said, but trust is what Josh Heupel said, and that's it, man. We want to know that, you can manage your offense and line guys up and, not be snapping the football when guys are shifting or not set. We want to make sure that you're taking care of the football and instilling confidence in the guys.
Not calling your own play on the Alabama goal line?
No, you can't be calling your own play on the goal line. No, can't be doing that. But, it may sound cliche, but it does really come down to consistency and trust. That's what it comes down to.
I also love the question to Banks about what defense he's going to run. He's like, I'm not going to tell you.
Because I don't think he knows.
He probably don't.
But if he did know, I mean, I wouldn't divulge that information either. I mean, you're trying to have an advantage. You're already shorthanded enough when it comes to some talent in some places, so you definitely don't want to be giving people information about what you're doing.
No, but I mean, these days, with all the NIL stuff and players can kind of go interview wherever they want to, you gotta. How are coaches going to keep that under wraps?
Man, you gotta have a heart-to-heart conversation with them. I think it's kind of like the conversation that your parents had with you when you got a little bit older. You was 18 and he's like, hey, you're not a kid anymore. I can't be there everywhere with you. This is just how you need to do things, and this is what's going to help us. This is what's going to help you. I can't stop you from doing it. If you want to go out and party and do these things, I can't stop you. But if you get pulled over, I ain't coming to bail you out. That's the talk I got. And so I think that's the same type of talk you got to have with these players. Like, we can't stop you from doing interviews anymore. Like, before, they had to go through the SID. They had to go through the University of Tennessee. They can't stop. They can't stop you from doing the interview. If you want to do it with a podcast or this blog or whatever, but you equip them and prepare them instead of trying to ban them. But you prepare them. Say, hey, make it about the team. Understand the reason why you're here. Make the main thing the main thing. Keep it the main thing. And if you're not making plays, these opportunities are going to dry up. So these opportunities are here because of what you have done so far. Don't get away from that because nobody wants to endorse a scrub.
No, and I have a feeling that that's going to keep these kids a little more honest because, if you're worried about whether your sponsorship deal, you're not exactly you're gonna think twice about doing stupid stuff outside the practice field.
Yep. And for some guys, man, and I'm like this, I can't be having too much stuff on my plate. I mean, I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now, doing, producing the show and hosting. But, this is not something I'm trying to do every day because there's no way I'll be able to do it and be my best self. There's no way. And so for these guys, they're already students. So they go into class. You're going to have tests, which means you're going to have to study. You're going to have papers, and that's going to require more time than just, going to class. And then you're going to have football practice. You're going to put in extra work because you're going to be watching film. You want to catch on the jugs or do extra things on the field. You're going to do extra, and you might try to have a little social life. I mean, goodness gracious, it'd be nice to see somebody with some pretty hair and some soft skin. I mean, you gonna want to see somebody, right? So you got time for that. And I mean, some guys are just like, hey, man, I'm just going to handle my business. If someone approaches me about some money, cool, whatever. Hopefully I can have somebody handle it for me. But I know that if I take care of business, all that stuff will take care of itself.
Exactly. Hey, Swain, before I go, make sure you leave your red and black Crocs at home when you go to practice. See you, bud!
They're not red. They're definitely black, though. I got some white Crocs and I got some black Crocs. The black Crocs do not have the fur. The white Crocs have the fur in them. I thought I would like the white Crocs with the fur when I first got them better, but I like the ones without the fur. I don't care what Juice Jabbar Davis got to say about Crocs. They're awesome, especially around the house and especially when you're queuing. And Ben is lying. I don't wear those things everywhere. I don't wear them out the house like that. I put on some shoes. You never know, man. I might have to bust a move on somebody. Don't have a lot of stability in them Crocs. Never know. Somebody might show up and want to play a game of basketball like Rodney. I got to always be prepared. Can't do it in Crocs. Jackson says Duke is going to be Duke. They just got the number 6 player in the country Monday. I don't think Duke's always going to be Duke. And I'm not saying that just because I'm not going to say that just because of one player they got either. But I ain't going to sit here and act like that Coach K stepping away, that Duke is always going to be Duke. Come on now. It's going to be different. You don't just lose a legend like that and just carry on. That'd be like saying, when Nick Saban leaves, Bama's going to be Bama. Really? They're going to be the same? They still going to be good, but they ain't going to be the same. No. I ain't buying that one. But if you're the SEC, you already got Vanderbilt. You don't need Duke. You got Vanderbilt for grades. And baseball, you don't need Duke. And we good in basketball. We don't need Duke to add to our basketball profile. This thing ain't about basketball anyways. These money moves are about football. I ain't thinking about adding no team just because of basketball. This is about football money. Let's go to the phones. All right, who we got? Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, C-Mac?
Hey, man, another day, another opportunity to be great.
I like it.
How's running solo the last hour 15 going for you this morning?
Oh, it's cool, man. It's cool. I prefer to have my guys with me, but hey, it is what it is, man. Practice in the morning. We gotta adapt. We gotta make moves.
We gotta adapt and adjust.
That's right. In-game adjustments, man.
Exactly. But you still got some of the heavy hitters who helping you out. Turkey Man, Ball Storm. I just came to add some confusion and to clarify something that I heard first thing when I woke up this morning.
What's that?
Y'all had a touchdown turnover. No, was it a touchdown turnover?
Well, it's about Pons being on the Memphis bench in December.
Okay, it was before that then, because I definitely think Pons should be on the bench. Definitely as someone like Justice Winslow, who hadn't shown anything since he came to the league, had a spot even though he was hurt. I think Pons can definitely be a contributor in some way, shape, or form with the Grizzlies. But I wanted to touch base on something earlier. It was about your boy Aaron Shears and not giving up but
he played tackle and he played guard, and to not be able to do that, to not give up a sack in 4 years in the SEC, whew.
That's ill. That's like you said, something that might not be seen ever again.
Yeah, and was hurt. C-Mac was hurt his career. If he wasn't hurt, he would have been a first-round pick. He was a second-round pick. This man had toe surgery. Like, he was hurt.
I just find myself on the side of, in terms of this debate, I find myself on the side of like DB, because the kid, he broke that record in 3 years, and I think I really wanted to see that kid come back at senior year, understand his need to go into the league, do what he got to do for his family. But he did it in 3 years, and I always thought that was something special, because in my mind, if he came back, for that fourth year, he would have put that record out of touch, where no one would have broke it, like for a good long while.
Yeah, I wonder if they, if they have it in the record books here at Tennessee, how long a player has played without giving a sack. I mean, because you got
to do some research on that.
Yeah, I mean, I just know that from playing with them and being being in that era, but like it's not an official stat like sacks are or interceptions or touchdowns. So, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a debate, C-Mac, because I'm not debating on which one's more impressive, because that's really hard. I mean, that's honestly really, really, really hard to pick one or the other. I call it more of a conversation. I let y'all debate and pick sides. I'm not picking one or the other. I just want to put in context how special what Aaron Sears was able to do here, because I know it's special to break Reggie White's sack record. There's no reason to really go in detail and have to explain how special that is. Anytime you hear Reggie White, that's special in itself. So folks automatically went there. I just wanted to put in context how impressive Aaron Sears' career was. I'm not picking, because both of them are pretty damn impressive.
They are, and that's what I wanted to put down. At the end of the day, we both can say they're both incredible feats.
Mm-hmm.
But the Aaron Sears part and him playing both tackle and guard is the perfect segue to my question. I've recently been seeing videos of Trey Smith and Cant, and
he's throwing folks out the club. C-Mac.
My question to you is this: so when he was at UT, he played some tackle, right?
Yes.
And please correct me, because I was not fully coherent last season.
It's all good.
I'm not sure if he mixed in some guard play as well while he was here. But my question to you is, how do I train and focus my attention on the interior line to continue seeing him throw MFers about the club, like just completely obliterating people who've been in the league for a minute about the club? How do I focus? How do I get that eye discipline to look at the interior lineman as opposed to looking at what a lot of folks see on the outside tackle?
It's hard, man, because the camera's always panning to the football. They follow the football, so sometimes it's hard to see the offensive lineman, just like it's hard to see the wide receivers all the time unless the ball comes their way, and then it takes a replay to see how they actually got open. So it just depends, man. It makes it tough. That's why the all-22 film is ideal, because you get to see the sideline view, and then you get to see the end zone view, so you can see everything. So, yeah, man, when you just see somebody getting thrown down, you just got to look up and see if it's Trey Smith. Trey Smith doing it, and he was tossing guys around like they were walk-ons. But they're getting pads here soon, so we'll see if Trey's able to continue that up.
He was throwing folks around like they legit just came off the street trying to get a tryout for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him. That's so cool.
I am too, man.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
You have a good one, man.
Hey, you too, buddy. You too, man. So happy for Trey Smith. Trey Smith being successful, man, makes my heart warm. He deserves it. He deserves it. I mean, he could have went to Ohio State, Alabama. Came here. Just was served a pile of crap. A player like that should be able to compete for championships. But funny how things work out because he's dropped right on a championship roster. Boom. And he has a chance to start day one, man. Golly. Ain't that great? Ain't that great? The universe was like, hey, Trey, my bad about your Tennessee career. Here's the Kansas City Chiefs. Boom. Patrick Mahomes, protect him. You're here after the Bucs assaulted Patrick Mahomes. And that's the reason why they lost that Super Bowl. They could not protect Patrick Mahomes. And he is now in position to be a big reason why they can go win Super Bowl. Man, ain't that a good story right there? Make you feel good right there, man. Make you feel good. So all you Chiefs fans that were Chiefs fans solely because of Eric Berry, and you have been waffling about whether you should continue to be Chiefs fans, you can remain Chiefs fans because of Trey Smith. Yes, Trey played he played tackle for us early, but then he slid in to guard and played guard a little bit later on in his career. But the reason why he played tackle is because it was better for the offensive line that he played guard and he allowed other people to play tackle. He could have played both, but sometimes you got to do what's best for the unit. The unit. So Trey at guard was best for the unit rather than putting Trey at tackle because maybe you had some other people that could not play guard. This is why K. Mays is so important because he's versatile. He can play guard, he can play tackle if someone gets hurt or someone's not playing up to the level that the coaches need him to play. You can slide Trey in at guard or you can leave him a tackle or whatever. So if there's an issue with protecting the quarterback's blind spot in fall camp, then you have an option with K. Mays. He's done it. Versatility is so important. So important. Check out this text box. ATL VFL says, I prefer North Carolina over Clemson. I don't want to see another jump man team inside the conference unless it's us. But I feel what you're saying there, ATL VFL. I want to know what ACC team that the SEC is going to pluck. It's going to happen sooner or later, right? Nelson says, Swain, have you watched the Pitt Central Florida game from last year? I checked it out yesterday, and Pitt's front seven dominated Central Florida's offensive line the majority of the game. I don't know if Pitt was that good or Central Florida's O-line was that bad. I have not watched that game. I do know that I think Hyper was 1-1 versus Pitt. They lost a close game to Pitt one season and then beat the brakes off of them in another season. I know there was several players. I think it was like 11 guys had opted out last season or something like that at Central Florida. There was a high number. I'm not sure if it was 11 or not, but I know it was a high number. Not like that's an excuse or anything. But yeah. I mean, I can see that happening. Nelson, I did not watch the film, and it's something I probably need to do before we play Pitt. Probably something I will do. Probably I will do it before we play Pitt, so we can get a good understanding of what we're going to see when we play those guys. See, Mac, I don't know anything about the SEC looking at NC State. Should know. See, Mac want to know about NC State. You're going to have to wear a House Divided T-shirt. See, Mac, if that happens, I don't think red and orange look good together at all. ATL VFL says, I would have liked Trey at left tackle last year and Spraggins at guard. Oh, yeah, man. Man, I can't wait to see Spraggins play. Woo! I can't wait to see Spraggins play. The story about how he got his offer at Tennessee, he came to camp, and he worked out for the coaches, and one of the assistants that was holding the shield, the pad, while Spraggins was punching it, had bruises on his chest. Man! Bruises on his chest. And he had a shield. And that's when he knew Spraggins was something. And Spraggins was a little 3-star and no one knew about because he didn't travel a lot. Didn't go to all the camps. But I'm telling you, if Spraggins would have went to all these camps that other players went to, he would have been a 4-star. And he had great feet. Oh, I'm so excited about Spraggers, man. I can't wait. NC State, Virginia Tech, Raleigh, and DC TV markets. Well, hey, follow the money. Big Orange Jay said he saw Cade May speak yesterday. Seems he's comfortable and confident, well-spoken guy dealing with the media. I mean, Cade has had plenty of practice. And, Cade is a great representative for University of Tennessee, does a great job, and he gets it. There's some guys that they don't get it. Cade gets it. He gets it. Glad he's here. I'm trying to look at the text box, make sure we get as much as we can in here mentioned. I know you guys do a really good job of using the text box. We want to make sure I read off as much as I can. Chip Payne, you did tell me your real name. We went to Daddy and Barbecue. I remember. I don't remember what you told me, though, because you go by Chip. Is it Thomas? Thomas Daniel Payne? Is it Martin? Martin Payne? Is it Martin? Cope Vall, is Beckwith still at running back? Yeah. I thought it was pretty weird he wasn't mentioned yesterday, but he is there. He was mentioned by, other quarterbacks, but not mentioned by the coaches. I thought that was really weird. But, hey, go earn it. Go out there, earn being mentioned. Let's see what else. SC Vol says Milton impressed me with his interview. Can you give me some hope about Willie? All I can remember is our DB's not playing the ball and getting the ball thrown over their head against Vandy. I mean, Willie Martinez did a good job with Cam Sutton, did a good job with Emmanuel Mosley. I mean, he took a guy that's never played corner, brought him in and developed him into the player he is today. I mean, if Willie Martinez wasn't one of the most respected DB coaches, I would tell you. And you're going to give up plays. You don't want to give up plays over 20 yards, but it's going to happen. You just hope that it's not in a big-time moment in the game. You just hope that it's not frequent. But you're going to give up plays. And what you hope are guys that are coached up, and Martinez DBs, they have been. I mean, Central Florida put, 3 guys in the league this past season from Central Florida DB? So, Martinez is a good one. One of the best coaches we have on our staff, one of the most proven. First day of practice is going down right as we speak. Tomorrow we'll have an update. We'll talk about the first day of practice. We'll break down those routes versus air. We'll break down who looked good hitting the dummy with no pads on. We'll do it just like we do every single year. But it is certainly an exciting time for us here at the Swain Event because it is football time. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for these players that have worked their tail off all summer long to prove people right or wrong. They get out on the football field and do what they love. And it seems like, man, they are happy and they are comfortable and they look like they're in a positive, healthy relationship. and looking forward to seeing how these guys progress during fall camp. Ben McKee left us a little bit early. He'll be back tomorrow. Swain Event, fueled by Daddy and Barbecue, Albert number 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Hope you have a great day, an awesome day. Same time tomorrow, 7 a.m. Peace and love. We are out. Swain Event, fueled by Daddy and Barbecue.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your